Hey, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. Welcome back to VIOC in Action. This is your boy, Mr. Leon Hunt, better known as Mr. One Time for the One Time Ras Books. Count cool, count quench. Live in the building. We here today with a special show. This is the number one sports show across the territory, across the land. And this is where we are, VIOC in Action. And what I mean, we get all the Virgin Island news them here. Any place you want to know any kind of news about any one of our athletes, guaranteed to hear it here on this show live with your boy, Mr. Leon Hunt. So today is a unique show because, our host today, of course, is me, and our guest today's show is myself. So I know, I've been telling you guys to go on to at least my Facebook or Instagram, and you guys been sending me questions. So what I did was accumulate all the questions that you guys sent out to me, and I was like, well, let me if you guys want to hear it, this is the best place to do is to do it on the show. So it's cool. So today is all about Mr. Leon Hunt show. And we're gonna find out some more information about who I am. So let's just say today I'll be interviewing myself. All right. So from the get go. Who is Mr. Leon Hunt? Well, Mr. Leon Hunt, hi. How's everybody doing today? I was born in St. Croix. Grew up playing baseball. Didn't know a thing about track and field because most people know me from playing track and field, from running track and field. So I grew up playing baseball. Happened to go to the States for high school. Happened to get into basketball. And then track and field came along somewhere in between the lines of like 10th grade. Uh, and it kind of just went from there. Basketball was like one of my passion, and then track and field just happened to just come out of nowhere, and it just was like, oh, okay, I think I could do this. And I remember the first time how actually I got into track and field was I was in 10th grade, and my coach, he was a football coach. The guy was like Coach Q. Um, he was like, "Hey man, you should come out here. I think you got some talent. Come out. Let me see what you got." I just no pressure, and I was just like, "Man, I gotta run ball. Like I'm not into running around. There's no circles." So he was like, "Man, you don't gotta run around circles. You could just go ahead and just run and jump." And I was like, "Run and jump? Like what do I mean?" So somebody who never been exposed to that particular sport before would be like, just run and jump. Like what? You ain't got me out there looking like a poppy show here. Check. So. Yeah, so he was like, okay, nah, let me show you a video. And he gave me a book. And he was like, it's a runway. You run down X amount of steps, and then it's a line on the ground, and then you hit the line. Don't go over the line because that's a foul. And jump as far as you can to the pit. The pit is a sand pit, and they mark the closest. They're gonna mark the closest to wherever is closest to the line. And then that's your distance. I was like, oh, fair enough. So clearly, I went down there. I think it took me like a good 4 weeks to go out to actual track practice because I kept on throwing the guy off. And some athletes out there, you guys probably went through some of this stuff, but experiences just like this, where a coach see talent, hidden talent in somebody, and you're like, nah, I good here, man. Like I gonna be this one particular player here, but coaches have an eye for stuff, And I think at that age, you should be open up to other sports and activities rather than just being locked in one. So as they say, don't put all your cookies, you don't put all your eggs in one basket. And I think in this case, it's kind of true. Although some cases, I'm like, shoot, go ahead, go all in, right? But in this case, I think it's true because sports is like, man, if you're an athlete, you literally can do all the sports. So you just might be that you might be that one in each sport. So I think those opportunities is great for everybody. So that's what happened. Went out there like about 4 weeks afterwards. And it was that same. I went out there in basketball shoes because, of course, I ain't had no track shoes at the time. I went out there in basketball shoes, and then whole season, which is about like maybe 6 or 7 track meets, I went to regionals. So regionals would be considered as you have your regular conference, and then after your conference is like everybody that's top 3 or top 4 or whatever in each conference goes to your region. So then you go to region. Regionals is the one that's just before nationals, and then nationals. Then you have no, sorry, is conference, regionals, state, and then nationals. So I went to regionals and I was like, oh man, like I think I could do this here. Like it was cool. I think I got like sixth or seventh place, and you needed to be top five. So, and honestly, I was actually being, I didn't, at that meet, to be honest with everybody at regionals, I was just like, man, I'm not trying to be here. I'm ready to go, but I didn't understand the dynamics of what was going on. So I just kind of cut myself short 10th grade year. And then as the next year fall around, which was 11th grade year, um, I remember me taking track and field a little bit more serious. I do sports in school. So remember, we talking about my high school time now. This is before all of our national team events and championships. So 11th grade year is when I did both sports, which actually I did volleyball and I went straight into basketball and track and field at the same time. And track and field is indoor and outdoor. And at that year, I made it to the states, and I was like, oh yeah, okay, like this is what it's about. And then that's the year when I felt like it was like, oh, you could go states and you could go do all this stuff. Let me tell you something. I was on the top then, you check. And then senior year came around. Senior year, I placed second place at states, and that's how I earned my scholarship. First scholarship going to Virginia State University in Petersburg, Virginia. Um, yeah, it happened at the meet. I got second place, and the next thing you know, I seen this coach coming around. Like, hey man, you want to go to school? You want to go to school? I was like, sure. And then we just start talking, and then next thing you know, boom, and up in Virginia State the 2 semesters after that, and then that's how track and field started. So yeah, so that's pretty much how track and field started on my end, how everything started. And then of course when I got into college, I didn't even know the sport then. I literally was the one like, okay, so in high school we used to do this, and then now you're telling me to do this now. So athletes out there. So this was gonna happen. So I'm kind of preparing you guys too as well. So in high school you're gonna go through your coach's ways and your ways, and then once you get to university, you start realizing that everybody is good. Like everybody's number one. Everybody, yes, everybody's good. Everybody's fine. Everybody can do everything that you can do. But you guys are all at the same school, so that's still good anyway. So since you guys are at the same school, we all on the same team. So that means you bring all the number ones together, and then you go out and then you compete against other teams. That's how it should be, rather than everybody trying to go against each other at the same organization. And it's like, nah, man, coach, I was blah, 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 blah. Nah. So, like I said, so what happened when you go into university, coming in from high school, is that you're gonna go through some changes. For one, you ain't with your mommy and daddy house no more, so you out on your own, right? So, first stages of being independent. Um, and then you're going through like training during the mornings, the afternoon, and sometimes the nights. Because if you're on scholarship, remember you there for, well, you remember you're a student athlete, so you're a student first, and then you're an athlete after. I always remember that, all right? And that's what you gotta tell your coaches to, like, yo, coach, yeah, I know I got the scholarship coming, but let me tell you something. This scholarship don't mean anything if these grades ain't good, okay? So make sure you always tell your coaches that, and don't use it a way to get out, because you gotta make sure your grades is good too. All right. So, um, you're gonna go through these different type of training. So you're gonna. Most people never use the weight room until they go to university. Now these days, well, they have a chance to use the weight room in high school. So that was something good for me. I never used the weight room. Like I only started using the weight room my senior year in high school for a class, advanced PE. So weight room to, and then after that, I never used it again. So until I went to college, I was like, "What? These man in here ponging plates, man." And then, so you get bigger, stronger, and faster. So you also learn that kind of type of ordeal. So And then your eating habits. Everybody know that freshman 20, freshman 15. Yeah, because it's a buffet for every eating session. Every meal you have a buffet. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And then you get these snacks like you will gain some pounds, you know? So but once you got your nutrition your nutrition at school, and they'll teach you how to eat and put what to eat, what not to eat. Mostly everybody eat fries and chicken and burger and stuff, you know, because that's how kids are. That's how young adults are until you actually learn how to fuel your body and what you really do need, right? So went out there, freshman year. I went to let me see. So this is kind of complicated now, all right? So hopefully y'all listening. So I was in the CIAA conference, which is D2, and I remember I went to every year I did track and field. I spent 2.5 years at the school, which would have been equivalent to five. Well, would have been equivalent to 2 full years in track. So you remember track and field is indoor and outdoor. So I did both indoor, outdoor, the indoor, outdoor, and each time I went to nationals, which was cool because your whole thing is you qualify with a marker, and then boom, you go on to nationals, and then D2, you just have conference and you have nationals. It's gonna change up in a little bit when we transition over to D1. But like I said, so you have conference, which is mine was CIAA conference. You go there 1, 2, 3, but then you really just going against time because, like I said, the biggest thing is nationals. You're getting ready for nationals, and I qualify for nationals each year, and then up, I'm Leon Hunt, so you gotta place at nationals too. So each year that I went to nationals, I placed, which was cool. Is like so you become like just not a regular participant. You just don't you just don't become a number. You become man, like this is one of the big guys. Like you got to make sure you weed him out when you go ahead out and or trying to run either faster than him or jump further than him. So I happen to be, I'm not gonna say lucky enough, but I happen to be skilled enough to be that one guy that to be on the top. And when we mean on the top, it would be like top 8, top 10. And that was great. But after you was, top for a while, I think my highest nationals, my highest placement in D2, I think I placed fourth or fifth. I honestly don't remember which one. But I do remember is there. I got the award someplace at my mother house. So I could look that up for you. I think it was in Sun. I don't even remember. Someplace in California. Mount Sac. I don't know. One of those ones. I remember. Okay, so that happened, and then we're not gonna enter into the national team stuff just as yet. But I do remember after play going 2 years in D2, I wanted a bigger challenge. So athletes, this is gonna happen to you when you come out there. You're gonna go into some phases where you just want more. I mean, everybody wants more. So you're gonna want more, and you're gonna say like, well, I think I want to compete against the big dogs because you start realizing that your conference or your nationals is not being televised on ESPN. And you're like, wait a second, isn't this the same nationals? Is not. So Division 1 usually gets all the coverage on TV time. And that's what you want. You want to be on TV. You want to be on the spotlight, and you want to go against the big top of top, the big dogs. So I made that decision the following year, which would have been going through my junior year, and I was like, man, I want to go D1. So when I told my coach this, you gotta have your just kind of block by your coach and just don't like, coach, I ain't running, and then you just transfer, right? That's not the right way to do it. So I was like, man, look, you're great. Everything is cool. Appreciate it. Now, by this time, this has been my second coach because the first coach he had left and a new coach came in, and it was cool. So I was like, man, I want a bigger competition. I think I want to transfer to Division 1. Now this is when the stuff start coming in. All right, so I told the athletes, well, my teammates, and everyone was like, "Dang, Books, you leaving?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm leaving, but I don't know where I'm going yet." So guess I can share this with you guys. The transition to Florida A&M just wasn't Florida A&M first. Before that, it was UTEP, it was Central Michigan, it was Final Line, which is Illinois, um, Florida State, not Florida, University of Florida, and another someplace in the Big Ten. I don't remember what the other one was. Oh, Pittsburgh. I think it was Pittsburgh. Whatever it was, I was like, okay. All those places was in. I remember this is around the time when I'm still learning track and field. I literally, like, okay, I talking to my friends, my boys that don't even run track and field is educating me on the sport. Even still, then we talking getting into your junior year in college, and which letting you guys know how much on the outside of the bubble I was, or in my own bubble in track and field, because I really still didn't even understand the sport. Even then, although I was good at it, or I say great at it, and I was like, yeah, man, this school telling me we should go here, go there. I got some coaches that I know and I'm like, well, all right, cool. So I met a buddy of mine's, coach from FAMU. He had just actually got a job someplace else, and he was like, "Yeah, maybe you should try down there in Florida." I was like, "Florida?" I was like, "Yeah," and I've heard about, and then I actually never heard about the school. And then I remember even in this thing after we talking about University of Florida, and really the decision came between the two because one was a HBCU, and then it was more of a diverse school, to be honest. And at that time in my life, I just felt like I was already HBCU. Let me just finish and being within like you be within what you know rather than getting outside. And I was like, cool, they're both D1 anyway. I didn't realize Florida A&M was in Tallahassee, and I'm thinking, yeah, going to Florida, you're gonna be nice beaches, coconut tree, island kind of thing there. Let me tell you something, right? Tallahassee is the northwest of the state, and that heck to get cold. And it's Florida too, And I was like, yo, like, how the heck did I choose this school to come down here? I thought we was gonna be like, I thought it was gonna be smooth sailing, not even gonna lie to you. And yeah, it really got me, and I was like, man, I was discouraged too, and I was like, man, up here cool. But this happened too on the beginning of the year. I remember when I transferred in, it was literally January 4th. Um, and then when you go to the school, I think you have like a week or two or whatever to actually decide if you're gonna stay before that time is cut off. And I was really thinking about going to University of Florida at this point. And then I was talking to my boy, Coach Durant, which is up there at Cornell, and at the time we were just like, bro, it's like just whichever one you decide, like this is the time for you to be a man. And I was like, all right, cool, man. I'm gonna stay here, and cool. So I stayed. He said, well, if you stay, make sure you do what you're gonna do. So I remember deciding to stay, and then the rest was history. Like, got in, um, and it would just it was a time. I didn't at that first year I didn't have a quote unquote jump coach, because usually when you get D1, just to let people know, you usually have a specialty coach in each event. And then it was one coach, and she had the boys team and the men's team, and then she had a couple of helpers. But I was like, man, I literally out here coaching myself, then. And it was one of those times. Well, since we talking about it, no. Well, even before we go on that, but yeah, I remember staying at the school, right? And then I was like, okay, all right, I'm here. We're gonna stay here. We got 2 years to do what we gotta do, and we're on a mission. We only got one coach. We got a couple of helpers, and you just have to do what you gotta do in the best. So what? me and the coach decided, which I went to go talk to her, and she was real to me. We was on full scholarship. She was real to me. She said, "Well, I don't know anything about jumps at all. I just know that you better win." And I was like, "Oh shucks, you check." And so she told me that. I was like, "All right, coach. Well, if for me to be able to win, I need to be able to talk to my national coach. At the time, it was Charles Golfin, Hounds and Foxes Track Club in St. Croix. So what we did was we used to record my training. We used to record my practice, upload them onto YouTube so he could see them. He would critique the video, send me back, well, write up whatever he needed to write up, or talk to me and tell me what I need to change. And we did this what daily and weekly, and that was my training for the first year when we got to Florida A&M. So pretty much, basically, I was training online, like literally, like I was training online, and everybody was like, "Yo, how did the heck this dude get to just do what he want to do?" And the coach is like, "Look, y'all don't worry about Leon. Leon got his own thing going on. He's still part of the team. Y'all just better come do y'all stuff over here." And I didn't want to be like put on a pedestal or anything, but that just was the dynamics. Like I was real. I was like, "Look, I'm into track and field 110% of the way right now." All right, but hey, before we go on to the next thing, hey, let's go take a quick commercial break. We'll be right back in BIOC in action. We all in the mind of Mr. Leon Hunt, and how the heck